to make a bizarre suggestion, and that is that it's the national will to include the provisions in the Constitution that's more important than the Constitution itself. Because the fact that the nation or the grouping of people has forced this to happen against those private interests that you're talking about is a sign that people are ready to have something happen. And I'd love to see that happen here.
Yeah, I'd love to see that happen too, obviously.
So when you do, if there was a movement to put in the people for the environment, would you include the protection of nature, the protection of animals, and also the protection, which I thought was really interesting, and that was my one concern, was when you were talking to the gentleman over there about the idea that it would be great if we had a great environment, and in some senses we have a lovely environment, but we're not feeling necessarily all the impacts here. We're impacting a lot of other people. So would we be able to bundle that all together, making sure that we have the right, animals have the right, nature has the right, but also other people around the world have the right as well? Could that be a bundle, or does it have to be one at a time?
It could be a bundle. I mean, at a basic level, a constitution, and the Supreme Court of Canada has actually said this more poetically than I can say it, but a constitution belongs to the people, not the politicians. So we are the ultimate arbiters of what should be in our constitution. And if we as Canadians decide that our constitution should include certain provisions, then the politicians better bloody well listen or get the hell out of the way, because it's our constitution, it's not their constitution.
Yes, congratulations and bless you for all you've done and you're doing. My concern is that the environment is changing and will continue to change at an ever-accelerating rate. And I can see unscrupulous governments, corporations, using this as an argument against the right to a healthy environment. It's a moving target. Have you dealt with that consideration?
Not in any direct kind of way. I mean, it's true that you get this in terms of the government and industry response to climate change. That the climate has always been changing, so we shouldn't really worry about the fact that it's changing now. But I think that the science is pretty clear that the acceleration of climate change, that the acceleration of biodiversity loss are not within the normal range of those fluctuations. And so the scientific consensus is that these are changes that are being caused by human activities, and our job is to remove the causes that are perpetrating those changes. And certainly, the evidence from the 95 countries that have recognized the constitutional right to a healthy environment is not that they solve all of their environmental problems, but it's that in a short period of time they are beginning to transform their legal systems and beginning to make inroads in ways that we in Canada have not yet made. And so, I've been working in this field for 20 years. I worked for 10 years to bring Canada the Species at Risk Act. I worked for years in British Columbia to bring in legislation to protect forests, to protect parks. And what I've seen over the last 2 years is some of those efforts that took many years to produce have been rolled back by the Harper government, have been rolled back by the Gordon Campbell government in British Columbia. And one of the things that's happened in countries with constitutional right to a healthy environment, including Belgium, France, and many nations in Latin America, is they've got a new principle that if there's a constitutional right to a healthy environment, then no government can roll back or weaken environmental laws or standards. That's a baseline that is, so Bill C-38, the omnibus budget legislation this spring, would be prima facie unconstitutional in those countries because of its attempt to weaken environmental laws. And I was just down in Mexico at a conference held by the Mexico's National Commission on Human Rights, and learned that Mexico has just amended its constitution to put that principle right into section 1 of their constitution, that any law dealing with human rights or environmental protection cannot be weakened, they can only be strengthened going forward. So these are remarkable developments that I think, we can only, at this point in time, we can only dream about having in Canada.
I think, maybe one more question and then we'll wrap up.